All right, welcome to Sleeping Out 2023. My name is Roy, and I'm going to be your host tonight. And if you don't know, if we haven't met, I'm on staff at the Leamington Community Hope Center. So we're a drop-in right here in Leamington for homeless, a lot of adults are what we're serving. So this whole idea of homelessness is really near and dear to my heart. So I'm really, really touched by what many of you are doing tonight and to sort of battle this issue. What I want to do is I want to take a moment to welcome those of you that are watching us online and those of you that are here with us tonight. We're so thankful for your support. We're so thankful for your dedication. I got a chance to walk around and see some of your homes that you've built for the night, and you guys are all in. And we're so thankful that it's not going to rain, right? So again, on behalf of the Bridge, thank you so much. Now, if you're not aware of what the Bridge does, first I'd ask, where have you been? But just in case you don't know what the Bridge does, let me just give you a little quick summary. The Bridge is a non-for-profit organization that helps bridge the gaps for those that are between the ages of 14 and 24 in Leamington and the surrounding area. And so this resource center that you're in right now opened up in January 2018, and it offers basic needs and services and programming that focuses on education and income supports, life and coping skills, along with other programs and services. The organization also opened the Acquiring Family Fresh Start supportive housing facility in January 2020 to address the youth needs around housing instability and homelessness. The program is to assist a youth in the journey of their change to family reintegration, independent living, or more permanent supportive housing opportunities. And recently, the Bridge has been involved in building housing and has completed 12 builds over the past year, housing people that are priority populations, including 4 units dedicated to youth. And that's why this fundraising challenge tonight is so important. The money that's raised here tonight is going towards supporting the many necessary programs and services that are run here, including the Acquiring Family Fresh Start housing facility. In other words, what you're doing tonight, some of you are just like, you're kind of like jazzed for it, but what I want you to really understand is what you're doing is making an impact in the community that you are part of. So thank you again. Now, to kick off our evening, I'm excited to introduce to you our first speaker, Morgan Celine. Morgan is a singer-songwriter from right here in Leamington, a graduate of Humber College's music program, and Morgan grew her love of music through community theater and poetry. Inspired by the wildlife and nature of Southern Ontario, Morgan borrows imagery and narrative from time spent at home and at Point Pelee National Park. Please help me in welcoming tonight's first guest to the stage, Morgan Celine.
Thank you. So yes, my name is Morgan Celine, although my birth name, as you might recognize it if you're from Leamington, is Morgan Panunzio. And I went to Cardinal Carter Secondary School before I transferred to Walkerville in Windsor. And that's where I really honed in on my passion for the arts and decided that that's what I wanted to pursue post-secondary. And then I went to Humber College. Actually, I started at York University studying theater, and then realized that I really wanted to pursue my own narratives and write songs, and instead of learning scripts and performing songs that were written by other people, I wanted to completely take charge of the narrative and write my own stuff and perform my own stuff. So that was my background, doing theater. And then through that transfer, I really focused a lot on songwriting, and all the songs I'll be performing tonight are original pieces. And the tracks that I'll be using, because I don't play instruments, I write completely using melody and lyric, because I'm a poet by trade, I guess. And then I add the melodies sort of later. Sometimes it goes the other way around, but generally it's lyrics first. And all the tracks that I'll be using to sing along with I recorded at Humber College at the Gordon Ragg studio, where I recorded them last year, and I'll be releasing them next year in an album on June 1st. So that's my announcement, I suppose. Thank you. And the topic of homelessness is very near and dear to my heart as well, because myself, I've never been homeless, but I have a lot of compassion for it due to my struggle with mental health that still plagues me to this day. And specifically, what I'd like to raise awareness about today is obsessive compulsive disorder, or OCD, right? A lot of people, probably a lot of you, also think that OCD is about being organized and, oh no, the pencils aren't in order and my room isn't clean. But the truth about OCD is, well, first I'm going to define it. This is from the American National Institute of Mental Health. OCD is a long-lasting disorder in which a person experiences uncontrollable and recurring thoughts, also known as obsessions, engages in repetitive behaviors, or also known as compulsions, to sort of alleviate the obsession. People with OCD have time-consuming symptoms that can cause significant distress or interfere with daily life. However, treatment is available to help people manage their symptoms and improve their quality of life. The last sentence there is misleading because in Canada, and pretty much everywhere, there's not a whole lot of resource as it pertains to OCD. So like treatment-wise, there's pretty much one thing you can do: exposure response therapy. And what that means is face your fears. So if your worst fear is, let's say, I don't know, what's a common fear? Spiders. You have to be in the presence of spiders. You have to touch the spider, maybe even eat the spider. You know, let's go extreme with it. Let's say that's your worst fear. You have to expose yourself to that fear until you're not afraid of it anymore. And that's exactly how they treat OCD. There is no medication, and other than antidepressants, because OCD is an anxiety disorder, and a lot of times depression comes along with it. So yeah, I've been struggling with this for a very long time. I wasn't diagnosed until I was about 18, but I struggled with it starting in high school. And how that manifested in my life was through a fear of getting sick, a fear of long-term illness, and watching some family members struggle with some of these long-term illnesses. I do not speak about them because I have trigger words, so I'm going to keep it as vague as possible in terms of the specific illnesses that I'm talking about, but I'm sure anyone could assume there's some pretty awful ones out there. And through this fear, I developed OCD. It manifested. It is genetic, so it kind of runs in the family, but once your brain latches onto a fear, and you already have a predisposition for OCD, look out. Because the more you engage in these obsessions and compulsions to try and prevent yourself from getting sick, in ways that don't make any sense, by the way. It's like having a superstition. I knock over a salt shaker, gotta put it over my shoulders or I'm gonna die. Crazy, right? Well, I don't wanna use the word crazy because that's what people would describe when talking about mental illness, and that is very misinformed. So the reason I'm opening up and talking about this difficult thing is because this existence is incredibly isolating. When you tell somebody, I have OCD, they go, oh my God, I'm so OCD too. Me too, I'm OCD. That's not how the illness works. If you just like to be organized, that's not the same thing as worrying that you're gonna die every single day because you didn't fold your laundry right or something like that. I'm sure my parents are laughing in the background going, she doesn't fold laundry. But anyways. Yeah, so dealing with OCD as well as depression, complex PTSD, all diagnoses which I have left me very ashamed, isolated, and sort of just not understanding how I'm gonna be able to cope. You know, these things, they affect your ability to work. You might have to take a day off because you're so exhausted and you're so just you're not even thinking. You're so focused on these obsessions all the time that nobody could possibly understand how incredibly debilitated you are on a daily basis. So, you might have to take time off work. It might be hard to find a job, or, waking up in the morning, you're tired, oh my goodness, you got to do all these weird things people don't understand, and you get really good at hiding it. And then when somebody notices, you're kind of weird, you just feel really bad about yourself, because how could you explain the absolute mess that is OCD? And a lot of people with mental illness struggle to keep these jobs and be able to provide for themselves. And, even having a will to live is a struggle on a very frequent basis. But here is my sort of, the silver lining and the hope in all of this, is that because of the social stigmas that we face when we struggle with mental illness, a lot of the times we don't want to seek out help. We don't want to tell people about it. We absolutely don't want therapy because, oh no, if you're in therapy, you're crazy, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's not the case. And there are a lot of resources out there, such as the Bridge. There are mental health resources here, and a lot of free resources all over the place in Canada, and I'm sure in maybe in the US, I don't know. But when we talk about Canada, as bad as it is, when it comes to resources, there's not a whole lot, but you can get lucky and find free resources, counseling, especially if you go to school. So through whether it's high school, post-secondary, there's oftentimes really awesome resources out there you can access. And the more you access them, the more confident you become in doing so and destigmatizing that internal shame, that narrative that we continue to carry, And the same can go for issues with addiction and homelessness, because when you have that sort of shame and the societal stigma constantly, they look at you and they expect so much less, and you want to prove them wrong because that's what you have to do. So I'm an advocate for, breaking down those preconceived notions that we have about people who struggle with whether it's financially, physical disability or mental disability, because OCD is also a permanent disability according to the Canadian government, which love talking about how that's a permanent disability, but I try not to say, I say ability. And that is what I'm leading into here, transcendence through art. The more that I create, the more I realize that OCD can be almost like a little superpower. I'm such a perfectionist. I'm always thinking about how to be better and how to improve this one line. How can I make this metaphor? How can I elevate it? How can I make it sound, as relatable as possible? But not only that, but through the struggle that I face every day, I have this compassion for other people who struggle as well. And in writing these songs, I just hope, and that's really my primary motive, I just hope that one day somebody will hear it and it'll help them, because music has helped me. Listening to music has helped me so much in my journey, in feeling like I'm not alone in my struggles. So, my mind works in a way that allows me to be creative and push boundaries and think differently than other people, which is the advantage, the yin and yang of having OCD. It might be debilitating at times, but it also can be really interesting. I'm very creative minded. So, the first song I will be sharing is called No Use. And I wanted to share this one before the next one, which is a little more uplifting, because it is about this isolation and being totally depressed and feeling as if nobody wants you around and nobody wants to be around you because you've got all these struggles going on. Why would anyone want to be dragged down by that, right? But it's not the truth. It's not that people don't want you around. It's that you don't have the self-worth and self-perception in line. And that's part of the cycle of lies that OCD, depression, that will feed to you. Back and forth, that you're not good enough. People don't want you around, which is just not the case. So this first song I'm just going to read some of the lyrics because you might not catch them when I'm singing it. Love me, it's no use. Hate me, whatever gets you through. You don't want me around, don't deny it, and don't let it get you down. It's the first verse. In the bridge, there's this: so many times I've traveled from you, so many times I've tried. Somehow, I'll keep myself from running right back. I try to build you up, make things right again, but there's something in the way. So this can be a metaphor for a bad, abusive relationship. It can be a metaphor for a relationship with yourself as well. But ultimately, it is about that loneliness. So I'm going to sing No Use, an original tune, for you right now. But there's something in the way. So this can be a metaphor for a bad, abusive relationship. It can be a metaphor for love me. Oh, we're going to start over. Okay. Love me, it's no use. Hate me, whatever gets you through. You don't want me around, don't deny it, don't let it get you down. It's true, the pain comes flooding back again. It's you, the one who made it out. No one to blame, I'll take it all the way through. You don't want me around. You don't want me around. You don't want me around. Numbness, you get by. Loving all as you try. The sadness will turn around. I won't try to change you, it's no use now. It's true, the pain comes flooding back again. It's you, the one who made it out. The same old wrongs won't do you harm. You don't want me around. It's true. Thank you. And this next song is called Dreams. This particular song comes from a place of being a little girl, looking out my window, looking at the stars at night, and looking with such wonderment and praying to God and saying, you know, whatever it is I wanted when I was a kid, I don't remember. But, you know, ultimately, it's that childhood innocence being sort of adulterated is the word I'm thinking of. I don't know if that's the best word, but by reality, growing up, and constantly still holding within you, in your spirit and your soul, that childhood innocence and wanting so much more, and hoping that one day, whatever it is you wish to overcome and whatever it is you dream about will one day come to fruition. And for me, that's just peace of mind. So yeah, this song is called Dreams, and I hope you enjoy it. Starlight, star bright, first star I see tonight. 9, 10 sheep I send, whatever soothes the mind. It's easy when you're young, I find. Drifting, speaking, please don't pass me by. Thank you.
All right, let's give it up once again for Morgan. Thank you for sharing your incredible gift, but also thank you for being so transparent and inspiring each of us. Before I introduce you to our second guest, I just want to remind you that there is still time to receive donations. And any donations that you get at this point can still push your team up the standings. And so I believe at this point, do we have the standings in place? We almost have the standings in place. All right, but just so you know, we are still taking donations till about 9:15, so whatever you need to do, call your mom, call your neighbors, call your grade 3 teacher. That would be a weird call. I can't imagine all of a sudden if I just call it, "Hi, Mrs. Thompson? I know it's been 40 years, but do you remember Roy?" So anyway, just a few other things we wanted to point out as well. We wanted to mention that the Guardians of the Children biker group are actually riding around our local area tonight, showing their support for sleeping out. And so that's awesome. And if you're watching from home and you haven't done so yet, you can pick up some coupons here at the bridge from Domino's, a continental breakfast including muffins from McDonald's, donuts, and hot chocolate from North Tim Hortons, as well as sleeping out gloves, right? You can get those right here at the bridge. And for those that are staying here at the bridge, you guys, don't forget there's a hot breakfast served in the morning. All right, here we go. We have this is the standings right now. This is not the final standings because, like I said, you can still get your donations in. Our top teams at number 3, MC3 Manufacturing. At number 2, Fair Car Wash. And at number 1, UE Enclosures. All right, top teams other category. In third place, First Lutheran Church. Number 2, the Hildebrandt clan. And in first place, currently, MB Youth. Wow, MB Youth showed up. All right, and top individuals. In third, Greg Weens. In second, Sarah Walker. And in first, Cornelius Fair. So like I said, we're still accepting donations for like another 45 minutes or so there's time for those standings to change. So like I said, get on the phone, text some people, find out anybody that you can draw in. All right, our second guest tonight is a young lady named Kayla Parent. Kayla is originally born in the Dominican Republic and moved to Canada when she was 3 years old. After growing up in Drayton, Ontario, Kayla moved to Windsor in 2017. Her story is one of perseverance as she's overcome many obstacles in her life, including the bondage of addiction. Recently married in October of last year, Kayla is a graduate of St. Clair College in Child and Youth Care and also obtained her bachelor's degree in social work from the University of Windsor. Described as outgoing, compassionate, and a hard worker, Kayla is passionate about working with youth and young adults in the juvenile justice system. Will you help me in welcoming to the microphone Kayla Parent?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I just wanted to say, Morgan, that was beautiful. I know we were all very touched by just your words and your honesty and your vulnerability. I think that's very powerful. I'm going to start off again. Yeah, my name is Kayla Parent. Maiden name is Kayla Vizcaíno. Again, from the Dominican Republic. I was born there. I'm going to start off by just kind of sharing a little bit of my story and how it is such an honor to be here sharing with you, everyone. And then I'm going to sing a couple songs as well. Not originals, but it's going to be a couple nice covers just to kind of express a little bit more just about what God has done for my life. I know my story is one of faith as well, as far as the God that I know and how he's really helped me through all the years of how I've overcome and what I've overcome from. So originally, I was born in the Dominican Republic in 1999. I guess a little bit further back, my mom, she's Canadian, she was a missionary. And she kind of just hopped on a boat and said, I'm going to go and I'm going to do God's work. And she fell in love with the country of the Dominican Republic. There she met my dad. She was serving at a shelter school for hearing impaired. And my dad is hearing impaired. And so they met and fell in love and then had me a couple years later. So I was born in 1999. Life was going good as far as I know. I don't really know. I can't really remember too much from when I was a baby or a toddler. I have lots of family down in the Dominican on my dad's side. Amazing people. But when I was 3, my dad had kind of chose that he didn't want to support the family anymore. Whether it was too much or he got scared, I'm not really sure. Haven't dove into that too much with him specifically. And he was also unfaithful to my mother, so he kind of chose to go his own way. That being said, my mom, she's Canadian. She's from here. She has family here, so she's like, we're going to go back to Canada, and I'm going to try and raise my daughter. And we did have some help as well. Again, her family's here. And so we moved to Canada, and she started raising me with a little bit of help from her siblings, and just really tried the best that she could to be that single mom that was, I guess, just the journey that had started. Now, growing up just with my mom and some of the siblings, that abandonment wound kind of started to come up in me. I didn't even realize it, but now actually even doing the studies that I'm doing, looking at childhood development, the impact that has on a young person, just that big change. I was going from learning 3 different languages, English, Spanish, and sign language as a baby, and then moving across the country to Canada, just a lot of change. I didn't realize how much impact that has on a baby, on a toddler. So started just living in Canada, saw snow for the first time, and my mom said that was a hoot, and that was crazy. I get to about maybe like 6 or 7. My mom is working, trying to provide, trying to support, and again, doing the absolute best she can. She's a saint. I love her so much. About 6 or 7, though, I don't know, I just first started to feel a little bit different from my peers. I remember this one time in grade 1, and specifically for Father's Day, they were making cards for their dads, and I just remember this unknowing feeling for the first time of, wow, I don't get to do that, or I didn't know what that meant. And nobody had explained it to me. My mom, she still had wounds from my dad and everything that happened, and so she wasn't really ready to explain that to me yet either. And so I kind of just had to go through the motions, not really feeling a part of, my peers. They had their dads that they were celebrating. I'd go over to their house, and it was just really confusing to me. And so I keep growing up, and the years keep going. I did love sports, so that was one kind of outlet that I had. I did pretty good in public school for the most part. So roughly, again, going on to 7 and 8, though, again, just a lot of pressure. As, again, we know from that time, development, age 12, 13, 14, heading into high school, there is a lot of societal pressure, a lot of environmental pressures, and pressures that you put on yourself, right? Whether that's to fit in, to measure up, to be a part of something. And I didn't realize at the time, but that hidden abandonment wound, I just wanted to be a part of something. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to feel and fill that void that I didn't know was there. So I tried with just, like fitting in, and it was just kind of innocent stuff at the time. I grew up, my mom, again, like I said, is Christian, so she tried to instill a lot of those values in me. But that's around the age where I started to kind of just go away from those values. I wanted to find my own path. And so that began an addiction with an eating disorder. That's how I wanted to fit in. I didn't like myself. I didn't like my body. I didn't like, looking at other women or I guess girls at the time and being like, oh, like I wish I was smaller. I wish I had more, guys, quote unquote. Which again, a little public school relationship, but at the time it mattered. And so that began. I slimmed down to practically nothing before entering high school, and that affirmation again was filling that void as soon as I entered grade 9, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting affirmation from guys, and I'm getting all this affirmation from my peers, and, I look good, and I kind of had this pride that also set in. So that was addiction number 1 that had kind of latched on, where I temporarily and falsely felt something. And then moving forward, grade 9, again, you kind of get into that scene, the party scene. Again, I wanted to fit in. I didn't know what that looked like, but I wanted to fill the void that was inside. So at first it was just, going out to a party, right, to fit in, or, having some drinks, just very recreational stuff. Then it moved into marijuana, into some drug use. And again, lots of recreation stuff. I wanted to be the life of the party. I wanted to fill that void, that abandonment wound that was deep inside me that I didn't fully, again, understand or comprehend. And at that point, too, when I was 15, I found out that my dad was trying to get in touch with me. And I had a half-brother in the Dominican that I wasn't aware of. He's about 5 years younger. And for some reason, I was like, okay, life sucks, and I'm just finding this information out. I'd already started kind of the recreational stuff. I want to go and meet him. I want to go and find out if meeting him is going to fix me. And so I said, Mom, I will pay for the entire trip. I will get us there. And again, I look back, and the grace that was on her, she had up and just took me to Canada. She hadn't seen this man in years. And she said, okay, if that's what you want to do. And so she sacrificed the different things that were going on inside of her, as in seeing that man again after all that time for me. And so anyway, I was working at the time, and I started saving. And we went on that trip, and I met him for the first time. And it was just for 2 weeks that we were going to go down there. I still had school, and my mom, at that point, she did file for bankruptcy. She didn't have work, but I still had teenage priorities, I suppose. So I get down there, and I meet him. I meet my half-brother. I still have the video, actually, of coming out onto the airport platform, and he's there. And I still remember just seeing him and, again, not knowing what to call him, not knowing how to feel about him, not really understanding truly what that word meant, what father meant. And I just started crying, in that moment, it was very, very overwhelming, and my mom, she tried to comfort me as best as she could. But the problem is that when I went down there to meet him for the first time, there was expectation. I had an expectation that this would fix me, that this would solve all my problems, that life would be so great. And I did get to meet the man that my mom married, I will say that. He is a caring man, and I did grow to find really good qualities in him. And one thing is humans aren't perfect, and I hold no resentment towards him anymore. But at that time, I didn't know, again, what any of that meant. I hadn't went through school or anything like that. And so I had expectations, I had resentment, and next thing you know, the trip is ending. And I'm like, okay, this is it. Like, I get, a so-called dad for about 2 weeks, and then I got to go back to Canada, and I got to resume life. And so a bunch of resentment just started filling up, a lot of anger. I end up back in Canada, and my friends are there to greet me and everything, and I was like, screw it. My mom is a little bit older as well. She had me at 42. And so the amount of times growing up that she was also called my grandma, and that people would say, oh, like your grandma, you're helping your grandma out. That was also something that really kind of stirred up some anger. And so there was that anger, realized there was just a lot of anger there, a lot of anger with some abandonment stuff. Get back to Canada, and I'm like, just screw it. So the alcohol and the drug use, that really started to amp up. I didn't care about myself at all at that point. I just didn't know what to do. I had pushed God away very, very far. I said, you haven't helped me, Ray. You don't care about my circumstances. You're just going to leave me to do what I have to do, and that's what I'm going to do. So recreational eventually became every day. It wasn't just, a life of the party, but my quote, or I guess motto, when I was in active addiction was, I'm going to go to this party tonight, and I'm not going to remember. And I choose to not remember what's going to go on. My goal is to get blackout cranked, because I don't want to feel. I don't want to feel anything. I don't want to feel the hopelessness. I don't want to feel the burdens of life. And so that started to become a cycle. And it just continued and continued and continued. I get to later high school years, about 16, 17, 18, around that time. And at that point, I was sneaking substances into school. I got suspended. My mom, she didn't know what to do anymore. She's a praying mom. She'd be up until 2, 3 in the morning, just praying and saying, I don't know what to do. You're going to have to take care of her. And he really did get me out of a lot of messy situations that I did put myself in, because that's all I thought that I was worth. I did try to commit suicide at 17. It didn't work, thank God, and that is why I'm standing here today. And there's a plan for me, and I had to understand that. But I didn't understand it just at that moment. I kind of just kept going, bouncing from one house to another. My mom, again, you learn something in social work and in, the, recovery world about enabling. And she was a big enabler, I guess, in my life, which it was coming out of love. She didn't know any better. And so she would allow me to come back home, get some food or do my laundry or something like that, and then I'd leave. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want her to see me like that. So I usually ended up just couch hopping or staying at a friend's house or staying at a boyfriend's house, or sleeping in my car. And so that was also a thing that had just become very habitual. I didn't know anything else. And so at 18 years old, that was it. I thought, okay, this is my life. I'm just going to continue. I, again, by the grace of God, just passed high school. Very, very slim, just kind of zoomed by. I don't know how still. And so as soon as I was finished, that's kind of when I said, okay, what are my goals in life? Like, what is happening right now? What are my goals? I really didn't have any. I honestly wanted to waste away and use drugs, which again caused a lot of consequences. I started having seizures from substance abuse. My body was physically telling me, you're done. And I was only 18 years old. And I didn't fully understand either at 18 years old what addiction was. I thought, I'm from a very small town. A lot of people drink. Like, the town is like 2,000 people. I'm telling you, like, it's just part of that town. And I just thought, I'll grow out of it once I'm in my 20s or my 30s, and it'll be fine. This is just what all teenagers do. But I got a harsh reality when I was 18, and I got arrested. And my mom and my aunt, they did an intervention on me. They sat me down the next morning, and they said, enough is enough. And so they actually set up everything in Windsor. So again, I'm not from Windsor, about 3 hours away. And they said, you need to go to treatment, or we're done. At that point, they were still kind of helping, not helping, reaching out, trying to rescue a little bit. And they said, no, you go or we're done. And so at that point, I said, okay, God, what is there? That's a year program that they were telling me about. I'm like, I can't go away for a year. That's insane. I can't go 3 hours and go into a treatment center. I don't even have an addiction. At that point, there was still some denial. But again, I said, okay, I'll go for you, because my mom, she was a mess. She didn't know what to do anymore. I was her baby, and I was going to die at age 18 if I didn't get some help. And so about a month after, I said, okay, fine, I'll go for you. I entered the doors of the Windsor Life Center, which is the treatment center that I entered, faith-based program, where I just said, okay, this is all I have. This is what I'm going to try because nothing else has worked. I've tried the eating disorder. I've tried the drugs. I've tried the alcohol. It all leaves me empty. I've tried the unhealthy friendships. It leaves me empty. So I'm going to try this, and I'm going to see how it goes. So 10 and a half months, so I didn't actually stay the full year. I got, in and technically graduated within 10 and a half months. It was extremely difficult. I had to pursue. I had to have perseverance. I had to overcome my fears. I had to acknowledge what addiction was and that I had one. I still remember the first group meeting that we went into, and we had to go around and we had to acknowledge, kind of what our struggles were, and I just started bawling, right? Another thing that was a little difficult, I was the youngest of the group. 18 you had to be to get into the residential treatment center, and I was kind of the baby of the family. And at first, again, I felt a little out of place, but I kind of settled in, and I said, okay, this is actually working. I have people that love me. I have people that are caring about me. I have people that want to see me have a future. And so I pressed into that, and I said, okay, let's do this. So about 4 or 5 months, I went for it. I wanted to learn everything that I could. I wanted to grow. I wanted to learn. I started picking up guitar. I started to sing. I started to get more confident. I started to understand things like abandonment and trauma bonds and unhealthy friendships and environments, right, that influence those negative behaviors. I started to learn about enabling. I started to learn that I am worth something, and that, too, my earthly circumstances and the circumstances that I was brought into don't need to define how I continue in my life. They don't need to be the thing that holds me down, because, yeah, we can't control circumstances sometimes, right? I can't control the fact that I was born into the family that I was and had to go through certain things, but I can choose to let it define me. I can choose to put it aside, to heal. I had to heal from it, yes, 100%. I had to look at some stuff. But I can choose to say, that's not going to hold me back anymore. And so I made that decision in treatment. I kept going. I graduated. As soon as I graduated, they kept me on as being an intern. And so I kind of worked for a little while. I gained more confidence in myself, and I said, okay, what else do you want me to do? I'm working. It was just as a kitchen manager, which I like to cook, but it's just not what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I clearly just know that there's a desire in me to give back and to help people, and specifically help youth and young adults work through traumas, work through circumstances, work through developmental problems that they're going through, whether, again, that's negative influence from circumstances or the people in their life, right? I want to be able to be an advocate. I want to be a mentor. I want to be someone that someone can talk to, right? To be able to heal, to be able to have a healthy relationship, to be able to boost confidence. And so knowing that desire, I said, okay, I want to go back to school. I want to learn more about what that looks like. So I did 3 years at CYC at St. Clair College. So I graduated that with an advanced diploma. And then I haven't actually finished my undergrad, but I'm in my undergrad. I just started this September to get my bachelor's in social work. And then I'm going to continue on to get my master's. I also got married last October to my husband. He's right there, Stephen Parent. And I want to say I'm not truly finished yet, but it is astonishing. I was just sitting there, just the different sequence and the different steps of how I got here on this stage tonight. And any time that I share a bit of my story, it brings up so much gratitude. I think that's the biggest thing that we need to remember is gratitude. Because when we lose gratitude, I feel like everything else starts to go. And so being up here, the gratitude that I have to be able to speak, to be able to support a beautiful organization that helps youth and young adults, 14 to 24 as mentioned, to get grounded, to get on their feet, to have support, to have people that love. Again, that's a beautiful foundation of how we can continue, how we can persevere, how I persevered, and how I'm standing here today to be able to speak with all of you and to be able to be an advocate for youth and young adults who truly, truly need it. So, again, I thank you. I'm super excited. Again, I do sing. I sing for my church. That's one way that I love to express myself. That's one way that I really tuned into. That's one self-care, one method I use to just stay centered, to be able to focus, to be able to work through what I got to work through. You know, I'm just over 6 years clean and sober, and I still got to work at it sometimes, right? Life isn't perfect, right? You have to be active. You have to choose to walk it out, right? It's not a perfect journey. It's a roller coaster. It's up and down. And I like to look at life as seasons. That's one way that I've always kind of looked at life is, okay, there's this season, and then I'm going to move to the next season, right? What's in the next season for me? And so I like to prepare. I like to get ready. I like to use that self-care and those self-care tools that I've learned over the years to be able to move from season to season. And so, again, I just want to share the message of never give up and rise up. That's one of the songs that I'll be singing by Andrew Day. And if you know God, again, trust. That's all I can say. I learned to trust, and I learned to just say yes. And so I'm going to sing a couple songs that kind of encompass a little bit of what I just shared. Oh, thank you. You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out and mountains, we gon' walk it out and move mountains, and I'll rise up, rise like the day, and I'll rise up, rise unafraid, I'll rise up, do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up high like the waves, and I'll rise up in spite of the ache, I'll rise up, do it 1,000 times again. You, when the silence isn't quiet, it feels like it's getting hard to breathe in. I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet and move mountains. I'll rise up, rise like the day, and I'll rise up, rise unafraid. I'll rise up, do it 1,000 times again. You. For that we have each other. We will rise, we will rise, we will rise, we will rise. And I'll rise up, rise like the day, and I'll rise up. Despite of the ache, I will rise up, do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves, and I'll rise up. Despite of the ache, I'll rise up, do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, you, for you. Hey, I will rise up, I will rise up, despite the circumstance. I will rise up. Ooh, yeah. I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me, and all my days I've been held in your hands. From the moment that I wake up till I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. Yes, all my life. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire in darkest nights. You are close like no other. Known you as a father, known you as a friend. I have lived in the goodness of God. Oh yeah. All my life you have been faithful. Yes, all my life. All my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. Give you everything. Your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after me. With my life laid down, I surrender now. Give you everything. Your goodness is running after me. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. Yes, all my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God. I will sing of the goodness of God. Thank you.
That's what a real rock star does. Smashes their guitar after the performance. Let's give Kayla another round of applause. You know, it's incredibly beautiful when God takes your pain and your past and uses it to redeem and inspire. You know, it's amazing. So many times we often look for how do we get a platform? How can we get known? How many get more followers on Instagram, whatever it is? We're always looking for a platform, but it's amazing when you watch somebody who, instead of looking for a platform, uses their life as a platform to rise others up. This is so awesome. Well, I just want to remind you that you have 10 more minutes or so to get your pledges in online to count towards your goal. Or do we have them already? Updated numbers. All right, right to the minute. All right, let's go. Let's start with the corporate leaders again. Still in third place, MC3 Manufacturing with $18,275. Second place, Fair Car Wash, $22,055. And UE Enclosures, $25,138. So it's tight. All right, in our other section, again, First Lutheran, third place right now. With $1,387. Second place, Hildebrandt Clan, $2,538.75. Ready for this? MB Youth, $11,675.25. I'm not even going to lie, that one's not close right now. Individual leaders, In third place, Greg Weens, 10,247. Whew. Second place, we have had a change here. Cornelius Fair, 21,245. Sarah Walker, 21,920. I'm telling you, third grade teacher, get them on the line. This could change things. All right. We got a little bit more time, but at this time, I'm going to welcome back to the stage Morgan Celine as she shares her talent and her voice with us once again. Let's give it up.
All right. Wow, that was awesome, Kayla. I'm really inspired. I was tearing up a little bit, so I hope I can do this now. Wow. I mean, like, it was just, your voice is incredible, and your message as well. Okay, so this next song, another original. This one's called Rosemary Girl, and I dedicate it to all women, and also my dear mother, and all the women in my life. Okay? It's about empowerment, so we're going on an uplifting note here. Rosemary girl, touch up your lipstick, put a little perfume on. Rosemary girl, you've got the world in your pocket, so what's missing now? When you smile, you could outshine the light of 1,000 stars. Your heart is golden and your lips are warm. You know you're the one. Your beating heart is beaming brighter than the light of 1,000 stars. Rosemary girl, you don't know what you're worth, so girl, come on, Rosemary girl, you don't need no man to tell you what you are. How could he leave you high and dry outside of the subway stop? How could he leave you at the break of day at the subway stop? You'll never meet a woman with the likes of you who's got what you've got. So many things on your mind, like a velvet kiss and love divine. So many things on your mind, and you just can't let them go. Rosemary girl, wipe away them tears and look around you now. Rosemary girl, red nails, red
a blue, blue soul, walking till the sunset, and laugh until the break of dawn. Don't walk on the scene, show them how to run, run, run. Don't walk on your dreams, take them and run, run, run. Run. Ooh.
Thank you. Thank you. And this last song is oh, by the way, all these songs will be on the album I release next year. The name of the album will be Stormy Eyes after one of the songs on. I'm not singing it tonight. Too depressing, too sad. But yes, the next song is called Oh Jean, and this particular song is very much inspired by the flora and fauna of Point Pelee National Park, but also it is sort of an ode to my estranged cousin that I love very much, and yeah, it's sort of like one of those songs that helps me heal those wounds from the past. Oh Jean, here we go.
Oh Jean, tell me where you've gone. Your silver bracelet cuts my wrist, but I keep it on. Oh Jean, sunflower in the sand. You're the lavender and the musty air of my cherry wood nightstand. You're the record player that only knows 63 to 75. As the aureole on a summer breeze, you're what it's like to feel alive. Oh, I miss you so. If only it would last. The sawdust flies, the tall grass is taken over now, and we both know if time would take a stand and carry with the wind our wayward kin, we'd gather again. Why did you have to go? Oh Jean, tell me why you left. All these tapestries are stained with wine, but I'm hosting absent guests. Oh Jean, your books are turning sour, moldy pages folding in, but I will salvage your pressed flowers. Open the sunroof for a cruise at noon, watching eagles flying by. Roll another one, yeah, let's have some fun under mulberries and pines. Oh, I miss you so. It's only broken glass. This greenhouse is abandoned, but still we're going in, and we both know if time would take a stand and carry with the wind our wayward kin, we'd gather again. Why did you have to go? Let me tell you something, Jean. You're a sunflower reaching to the sky, and when it storms, let me be your anchor, Jean. You're the navy blue, the harbor view. You're a lighthouse so serene, oh Jean. shed a tear. I've kept myself together for so long, even when you were not here. Oh gee, no need to be upset. Just put that record on and play our song. We can take off where we left. Thank you.
Thank you, Kayla. Sorry, I'm Morgan. I was thinking, we've been incredibly blessed by Kayla and Morgan tonight, not just with their incredible talent, but also just their transparency and sharing with us. So let's just give them a round of applause just one more time as our appreciation. Okay, before we announce the winners, there's some important sponsors that we want to thank that make Sleeping Out such an incredible success. We want to thank you to UE Enclosures, to MC3 Manufacturing, Home Shield Exteriors, and Southwest Diesel. These are our main sponsors. Let's give them a round of applause. We also want to thank Kindred Credit Union, who sponsored the breakfast. We want to thank you to Domino's Canada, North Tim Hortons, and McDonald's Kingsville for their food donations. And we also want to thank all of you who have participated in this event. You've given up your time, your energy, your emotion, all of it. So let's just give ourselves a round of applause. And I think we also need to thank our local appliance stores for providing all the cardboard that you have tonight. All right, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. This is intense now. All right, we'll start with our corporate team. The winner of our corporate team is UE Enclosures. The winner of our top other team is MB Youth. And our winner of our top individual by about $500, Cornelius Fair. If you're watching, we will get in touch with all of our winners and we will get you your plaque to commemorate your win. But I think, honestly, I just want to say all of you once again, I'm so inspired by what you're doing tonight is these little things. This is how you become a world changer. This is how you change the world just a little bit at a time. And so the hard part begins now. Thank you. Have a great night.
And one of the most important things we need to talk about is our total. So our total raised for tonight, $163,678.90. On behalf of the Bridge, the organization, again, we're not here without our volunteers, without our donors, and that's each one of you. So we very much appreciate what you're doing, the fact that you're sleeping out tonight, the fact that you're raising awareness to youth who may be homeless, who are in the situation where you're going to be in for one night, they're in night after night. And so they need our support. And that's why we as an organization are here. We're here to support the youth ages 14 to 24 in any way that we can. So thank you very much, everyone, and have a great night.